Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful season of life that seems to have begun. In our lives, we are all familiar with change. We are all familiar with uncertainty. We are familiar with adversity. We are familiar with some might say those things comprise what they have experienced so far as life. Change, adversity, obstacles, challenges. What I'm going to talk about in this little video is how every one of those life events are in reality opportunities, or what might be referred to as a choice point, or a pivot point. We are the microcosm, and our sphere, planet Earth, exists within the macrocosm, i.e. the universe, the solar system, and the galaxies. Those are all macro, we are micro, and then the cells within our body are the mesocosm, microcosm, macrocosm. So the macrocosm, as we experience it here on planet Earth, in our physical reality, experiences seasons, no? We have, in North America especially, or the northern hemispheres, we have summer, fall, winter, and then spring. And coinciding with those seasons are planetary movements, years, 365 of our days in rotation around our central sun. So everything has a divine order to it. It has a time and it has a place. As our planet moves around our sun pulls in its gravitational wake our planets that comprise our solar system around the central sun in our Milky Way galaxy. Our Milky Way galaxy is pulled around the center sun of the universe, of our universe. And all of these things go on like clockwork. So everything has a divine order, and everything has a season. You will, in your life, inevitably find yourself upon the threshold of changing seasons, or changing events, changing life experiences, life seasons. A very, very broad description, or generalistic description, that we might use to set this up would be your time of infancy, your time of adolescence, your time of adulthood, whence you might be single, your time within a marital relationship, your time as a parent, then your time as a grandparent. if we are being very generalistic of our planetary sphere. Other seasons might include how our culture in North America defines the school systems. You have your primary school, you have your secondary or middle school, you have your finishing school, high school, then you have your university or your college season. And then you might go into a career field and begin seasons upon seasons within that exploration of life. What I am alluding to is that evolutionarily, we, you and I, as hominus erectus, human beings, have an evolutionary advantage over our predecessing ancestors, as well as inhabitants of lower kingdoms, realms, animals, and plants. For we have the ability to consciously identify and recognize the ending of one particular season or cycle in our lives and the beginning of a new one. Now, let me expand upon this. When we recognize, which is oftentimes very easy to do, especially with major life seasons, there's an ending. Here is where our evolutionary advantage kicks in. During the time between when we have consciously recognized an end of a cycle, we get to choose. We are able to spirit our vessel, captain our ship in the new direction of life. This is our evolutionary advantage. For we are not at the mercies, if you are materially fortunate enough, we are not at the mercies of the seasons, the planetary seasons. We have a home to shelter ourselves from extreme heats and colds. We have fire to provide warmth, and we have the understanding of how to harness ice if we were need to cool. Again, evolutionary advantages, as is our ability to recognize the ending of a sequence and decide in that middle ground, that fertile soil, how and what we will plant for the coming grow season. As do all plants begin as little seedlings, nestled away in obscurity, the fertile soil, the unknown. All plants bloom and blossom in their natural habitats. So your natural habitat, what is that? That is a question for yourself. Where do we as a species benefit most? Do we benefit most whilst in an urban setting or in a rural setting? Do we benefit most from love of power, or do we benefit most from the power of love? Everyone must make this decision for themselves. And when this decision is conscious, you join forces with all of the other entities and consciousness itself, which is moving like a river in the direction of said choice. Love of power, power of love. Free will is one of your inherent rights. And to infringe upon that is to exercise experience in the experiment of loving power. To allow for others to find their own way and not to infringe upon them your way of being. Other ideas, other ways of life, is to utilize or to allow for the power of love to flow through your life and direct you in ways that benefit you most. This is my personal conclusion. You may do as you will, as will all creation do as it will. Though, I will make very clear that we are collectively at a choice point. There is a season ending. It already ended on our sphere, in which the love of power had its heyday. Now, we may collectively choose to utilize the power of love. At any point in time, a given species of conscious awareness of spirit may choose to direct their collective social memory complex, i.e. species, toward the service of others, utilizing the power of love, or towards the service of self, utilizing the power of separation. In Star Wars terms, this is the dark side versus the way of the Jedi, or the use of the Force for the positive. The Force being spirit, consciousness, God, and separation being not other than spirit, though an invested belief that thou art separate and tasked with conquest. Malevolent and benevolency exist, though only in our conscious investment of energy. When you are consciously invested in the benevolent forces of humanity, of creation, of God, then malevolent experiences become but a memory and no longer a visceral experience. And the same goes for the malevolent road. Thus, when you stand at a choice point, when Jesus hung on the cross, with one man calling out, "Remember me," and the other spitting upon him and taunting him, Jesus was symbolizing the middle road. On the cover of the Bhagavad Gita, when you have one army believing themselves righteous, and another believing themselves all-powerful. And the deity and the man stand in their chariot between the two armies. They are symbolizing the middle road. That way, as the Taoists, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Christians, the Islams, the Zoroastrians, the Atlanteans, all conscious life which develops a religion or a worship of a higher power comes to the scientific conclusion that balanced expansion is the nature of the universe. As Christ did expand upon his cross from third density to fourth, absolving all karmic debts accrued in his life by the ultimate display of unconditional love. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So can you choose to be balanced. Only a perfectly balanced entity would have been able to hang upon a cross and forgive those slaying him, persecuting him. As is the message in the Bhagavad Gita, destroy all who stand before ye today, for I have already destroyed them, for it is my will. So act unencumbered by grief, pain, or despair, for their deaths are already mine. That would be hard to do, no? To walk through this world more or less indifferent, though full of compassion, honoring free will, allowing all just to be. It is tough, but it is the middle way. It is the way of love. And thus is what I've learned from my experience in North America thus far. To honor others' honor, right, and duty towards free will, and to worship God, and to study His natural universal laws is the middle way. It is the highest form of praise, and it is the golden ticket to ascendancy. It is the reassurance and validation of all life experiences. For when aligned with balanced expansion, as the universe is expanding in perfect harmony, so can your ways be. Balanced and expansive, in service to others or in service to self. And in conclusion, I encourage service to others, for it entails service to self. All thy needs have been provided for in service to others. Namaste.